Hello everybody, we're going to talk about equatives in Pashto. Equatives are one of the simplest building blocks we can use to put sentences together. We can use them to say things like, he is happy. It's kind of like saying A equals B. A is equals happy. B, we're saying one thing is another thing. And in English, we use the is as our equative linking word here. In Pashto, we would say, hara khoshala de. He is happy. And the order's a bit different. So we say A, B equals hara, he, A, and khoshala, happy, B, de equals is. So our equative word here in Pashto is de. So we're saying that he is happy with this word. Now, some people might call this the to be verb in Pashto. I don't think that's a good idea, and I'm never going to call this a to be verb because verbs are completely different in Pashto. Verbs have different categories and forms and tenses. They have infinitives. They behave completely different. These equatives behave completely different. They have different categories, different forms. They don't have infinitives. They're like completely different things. So I'm not even going to call these verbs. We'll just think of them as little linking words that we can use to build these equative phrases. So we'll just call them equatives, not verbs. And there's many different forms. We have our present equative. We can say, hara khoshala de, he is happy right now. We could also use a habitual equative, and we could say, hara khoshala wi, and that means he's generally happy or habitually happy. And again, we is our equative there. Or we could use the past equative and say, hara khoshala wo, to say he was happy. And then wo is our equative there. There's also 5 more forms like this. So that gives us 8 types of equatives in total. But today we're just going to focus on the present equative for saying things are something right now. So how do we do this? What's the form? Well, like I said, we have an A, a B, and an equals. We have our subject, the thing we're talking about. And then we have B, we have a predicate, which is what the thing is. And then we have an equative to tie it all together. The subject is always going to be a noun phrase. So this is a pronoun or a noun, a phrase describing a noun. And so that's the thing that we're talking about. And the predicate, it can be a complement. It can also be something else, but we'll see that in the next video. But for now, we'll just know that the predicate can be a complement. It can be like an adjective or an adverb describing the location of the thing. So let's say, for example, we use hara for he as our subject noun phrase. That's a pronoun. That works. Then we can use an adjective like happy, khoshala, and then we have to use our equative, de. So hara khoshala de, he is happy. Like I said, noun phrases can be phrases describing words. So here we have a couple words, my brother, zmarur. Let's say that our brother is here, zmarur delta, and then we have to say de. Always remember you have to add in the equative at the end of the sentence. Or we could say zma kitabuna, my books, and then we'll say they're here again, zma kitabuna delta di. In this case, notice the equative changed. So the equative is going to change depending on what the subject is here. Now let's look at exactly how it changes. So we'll make a whole bunch of sentences to demonstrate this. For our subject, we can take pronouns. So let's take the pronouns ze, mung, te, taso, hara, harui. And for our predicates, we'll take some complements. We can use a couple of adjectives like khoshala for happy, khafa for sad. We can also use some location adverbs like delta or alta for there. Delta is here, alta there. And for the equative, we'll use the present equative. So here are all the conjugations for the present equative. Depending on the person that we're talking about, the person or thing that we're talking about, we have to choose the right form, the person and the number, to match what we're talking about. So we'll say either yum, you, ye, de, da, or di, like that. So if I'm saying z, I, khoshala, then I have to say first person singular, yum, z khoshala yum, like that. If we're talking about mung, we, mung khoshala you, like that. If I'm talking about te, Khafa ye, takhafaye. If I say harui, they, harui delta di. So if I say hara, and I'm talking about him, then I say hara alta de. Notice for the masculine and the feminine, it's going to be different. If I was talking about a girl and saying she's there, then I would say hara alta da. So hara alta de is the guy is there. Hara alta da, the girl is there. In colloquial speech in Afghanistan, you'll often hear people say da for both, whether it's male or female. But in regular written standard Pashto, it's going to be de for masculine and da for feminine. Now with these words, you can take any subject, any predicate, and then find the matching equative, and you can build 168 different sentences just from what we have here on the screen. So I encourage you to pause the video and play around with it. Try building some of your own sentences. Now I have to tell you that to start with, I kept things extra simple. I chose adjectives like khushala and khafa that don't change. What do I mean by that? If I were to look up the adjective khushala in the Lingdocs Pashto dictionary, I'd see there's no inflections. The word doesn't have different forms. It's just always khushala. But some adjectives, if you look them up, like if you looked up stere, the tired, the adjective for tired, then you'll see there are inflections. It does change. And so we will have to watch out that when we're using these adjectives, we have to make sure that they change and inflect according to what the subject is. We won't worry about that in this introductory video. In the next video, we'll talk more about that. So how do we make questions out of equatives? If I say hara khushala de, I'm saying he is happy. But how do I say is he happy? Well, all we have to do is change the intonation of our voice. So we say hara khushala de, is he happy? So you don't have to worry about changing the word order like you do in English. So someone could ask you, staror delta de, is your brother here? And that's a question. Just like if they said staror delta de, your brother is here, that would be a statement. All I did was change the intonation of my voice. So you could answer that and say, zmaror delta de, my brother is here. Or if I were to say, zmaror delta de, is my brother here? Kind of like that. All you do is change the intonation. What about making negatives? Again, this is pretty easy. We just use the word na for kind of like not in English. So with our Pashto form, we have our subject, predicate, and equative. And to make it negative, we're just going to put the na right before the equative. For example, I can say hara khushala de, he is happy. And if I want to make that negative, I just say hara khushala nade, he's not happy. Notice the na is emphasized or accented there. I could say staror delta de, your brother is here. Or I could say staror delta nade, your brother is not here. And again, all I'm doing is adding the na right before the equative. So we can also make negative questions, right? If I say hara khushala nade, he's not happy, as a statement, but I could turn it into a question just by changing the intonation. Hara khushala nade, is he not happy? Again, no word order change here, just an intonation change. Staror delta nade, your brother is not here. Or staror delta nade, is your brother not here? Okay, to finish things off, let's just do a few more practice questions. Let's say we want to talk about kitabuna, the books. Notice in Pashto, this could either mean the books or just books in general. There is no definite article. There's no such thing as the in Pashto. It's a good thing to remember. And let's say the books are here, delta. So how do we finish this off? You can pause the video and try to remember. It's di. Kitabuna delta di. The books are here. Okay, so what if we want to say takhafa? How do we finish that off? Ye. Takhafaye, you are sad. If we say mung delta, you. Mung delta you. Okay, that's it for the basic introduction on equatives. In the next video, we're going to talk about what happens when we use adjectives that inflect, as our predicate, and also what happens when we use nouns as our predicate.